I've got one.
Go on.
Young man sought for hard labour, must not be squeamish.
Oh, that sounds a bit grim.
What you got?
Oh, this one's quite weird. Unique daughter available for marriage as no boys have been born on our side of the mountain for some years. Must marry into relaxed family, no time wasters. Sounds a bit odd.
Unique. Hey, how about this?
Go on.
This is so sad.
What?
I'm at my wit's end. I keep on having a recurring dream. Please help. PM me for further details.
Oh, that does sound sad. This one's, I found quite a funny one actually. Suspect my fiance of doing something really stupid before we got engaged. PM me if you may have advice to offer.
We better put them together.
Oh, it's a must.
Once, 500 years ago or so, in Iceland, there was a terrible emergency. You see, Iceland has hard and rocky shores, and they ran out of space to bury bodies in. So the Great Council met, and they declared, let us just dispose the old bones, the bones from pagan times. And so it was, 3 men, one long summer's day in Iceland, went down to the churchyard and started digging. Well, there was Grim, bald-headed with a great big beetling brow. There was Thor, who was in charge. And there was little Olaf, who was in the hole. So it was about mid-morning, and he was digging, and he said, hang on, I can't dig anymore. And Grim said, must be a root. And he jumped down, and the 2 of them started to work it, but Olaf said, I don't think this is a root. And he cleared off all the earth, and it was a bone. A long bone. But he'd never seen the like of a long bone like that. And Olaf and Grim tried to pull it, and even Thor jumped down, and together they pulled and they pulled and they pulled for 15 minutes, before at last, boom, out came the bone, and they all tumbled back onto the ground. And Thor said, time for some beer, I think. And they were sitting, drinking, eating bread, but Olaf still held the bone in his hand. And he was a young man, and it seemed to fascinate him. And he threw it in the air, and he caught it. And he threw it in the air, and he caught it. And he said, I wonder what sort of man he were. But Grim said, oi, you leave that bone alone. Because I think that bone is the bone of my forebear, Egil Grim. For I too am a man of mire. And his brows went bushy, and his eyes sparkled. And Olaf said, well, I meant no offence. You mean it's Egil's bones? Like we read of in the sagas, the mightiest hero of Iceland. Oh, what a thing he is to hold his bones. He who held the whole world in his hands. I just throw him up and I catch him. I throw him up and I catch him. Be careful, said Grim, for he was a sorcerer. Oh, I believe nothing of that. I just wish he could come at my wedding so I could wed him, so I could wrestle him proper like. Thor at that moment stood up and said it was time for them to get working. And so work they did. And Olaf had very likely made that remark. He soon forgot it. He was young. He was feckless. He'd never had a girlfriend, let alone a fiancée. But the swift years passed, with the flowing of rivers and the falling of leaves. And Olaf grew up. There came a time when he became engaged, not to a girl in his valley or the valley next door, but the one next door to that. A girl who was older than him. A girl who had a certain reputation for being cunning and crafty. Now, after the engagement was announced, Olaf rode home. But that night, he had a dream. And in that dream, it's like all the stars fell out of the sky. And there was a yellow light in the distance, and a shadow stalking from it. And the shadow was stalking like a wolf, but I think it were a man. And it came closer and closer to me, until it stood right over me. A monster of a man, it were 8 feet tall. And he turned to me and he said,
I'm looking forward to coming to your wedding, Olaf.
Now the first time Olaf had the dream, he thought nothing of it. Maybe it's just anxiety. But when the dream had happened for a fortnight, he could bear it no longer. So he went to the one person he thought could help him. He rode over the hills and over the hills again, till he came before Gudrun. And he told her all about his dream. And Gudrun replied,
Oh, Olaf, I would think nothing of this dream of yours, but for the fact that I too have had the same dream.
What, you too?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Olaf, have you invited anyone to our wedding who you should not?
Well, I've invited your Uncle Harry.
Oh.
I shouldn't have invited him.
Well, no, of course.
You know what he's like.
We don't want to, but we must. We have to. Don't be silly, Olaf. Not that sort of thing. Someone or something.
Uh-oh. Because the memory had flooded across Olaf's head, he remembered the sunny churchyard. And he told Gudrun all about it.
Oh, no.
What do you think it may? Oh, you don't think he could be coming to my wedding?
Oh, the ghost of Egil Skallagrimsson is on your tail, on our tail. He was a great
But
sorcerer.
what are we going to do? I suppose we can't not get married.
It would be a pity with all the preparations. There is something my people do at this time. I will ride off to the northernmost tip of Iceland to see one whom they call the Wise One.
So it was. Gudrun rode over the mountains, through the glaciers, across the snowfields, to the very misty end of Iceland, on the northern black cliff, where the land falls away to the grey and shifting Arctic Ocean. And there dwelt still, my child.
Oh, Snow Mother, help me.
And what Gudrun did for the Snow Mother, what quest she performed or task she performed, this story does not say. But she left with 4 gifts. Here is a bag of Byzantine gold,
Thank you.
as I promised you.
The basin of black earth.
And a lock, notice the key,
Yes,
silver.
curious design. And much good advice.
And Gudrun rode home. Oh, hello! You're back!
I am back.
Do you know what we're going to do?
Yes, I do. We must build another hall. Not.
What? Another one? Let's
Yes.
finish this one.
I know it is not fitting for the dead to make merry with the living. We must build another hall, and it must be built of black ash and thorn.
But that's unlucky.
Well, exactly. It is for the dead.
Okay.
We will build this hall, and when it is built, on our wedding night, if Egil comes, and I am sure that he will come, you must lead him across to the hall.
Well, and go in with him.
No, he must go before you, and you must not go in with him.
How?
Olaf, I cannot think of everything.
So I've got to take him to the hole and put him in there.
Yes,
And he's 8 feet tall and wants to wrestle me.
let us hope that fear grants you inspiration.
Uh-oh. This ain't going to end well.
We must try.
But Gudrun made the hall. She hung it with old tapestries. She put in the basin with black earth on the table. On the door, made with a black ebony panel, she put the silver lock with the curious haft. And then she said she had done what she could. Olaf spent all this time, what am I going to do? Fretting. But too soon for him, the wedding came down. And men noticed, although they seemed really happy together, and although they threw a good party and drunk and ate what they should, The pair of them seemed to be getting more and more anxious as the night went on. They kept on looking at each other nervously. And some people thought, well, it's just the wedding blues, ain't it? But others wondered. It was just before midnight when suddenly a storm blew up from the east. A thunderstorm. And through the thunder there seemed to be a beat, a beat, a beat, a beat, as of a giant's footprints coming closer, coming closer, coming closer. And then there was an icy blast that blew open the great gates of the compound. And they could feel someone come right up to the hall door. And the hall door was blown open. And there stood a figure, 8 feet tall, with black beetling brows, a bald-headed cliff troll of a man. Egil Skagler. My dear Gudrun, I have longed to meet you, my child. Happy wedding.
Welcome and thrice welcome, Egil Skagler, great forefather. But you must know that it is not meet, it is not fitting for the dead to make merry with the living. We have prepared you your very own hall across the way.
And Egil turned and he saw it and he chuckled and he said, all right, I will go. But I know the custom of these lands. I am the guest. Who will take me there?
Olaf will take you.
Oh no! Very reluctantly, little Olaf, his knees knocking, went up. And Egil turned to him and said, lead on! But Olaf, perhaps fear brought out knowledge, said, oh no, you know the custom of these lands. You're the guest and I'm the host. We must link arms and walk across this yard as if we were true born friends. And so it was, little Olaf linked arms with the ghost of Egil Skagler and walked across the yard pointing out the local sights until they came to the dark hall. And then Egil said, as you say, I know the custom of these lands. I am the guest and you're the host. And so you must go into this hall and light the light bright and welcome me in. And Olaf said, it is true. That is the custom of these lands, save when the all is new. On that day, the guest goes in first and welcomes the host. That is the custom of these parts. And Egil, when he heard that and knew its truth, went in the hall. And then he turned and he looked at Olaf with a very nasty expression on his face and he said, I know the custom of these lands. I'm the guest and you're the host. And now you must come in and drink with me. So come, Olaf. But Olaf, standing by the door, said, oh no, that is true. On any other day, I would have to drink with thee. But you know this is my wedding night, and I cannot leave my bride. And so saying, Olaf closed the great black door and locked the key. And then he went back and he gave the key to Gudrun.
Thank you.
And the two looked relieved, and they ordered more ale and more mead, but soon they sloped off. But you know, Olaf woke up rather early the next day, and Gudrun enticed him to stay in bed till mid-morning.
Oh.
I've got to get up! I've got to go and see!
Wedding night.
All right. But even so, he got up at about 11, and he had to hold himself to a stool, and he kept on moving. He said, I've got to go and see! I've got to go and see!
I'll have to tie you.
Do you know, I
down.
found myself down by the corner of the house.
No, you're under the enchantment. Tie you to this chair, that's what I'm going to do. Honestly, Olaf. We must wait until noon. We cannot go sooner. We must wait till the light is at its height. and the shadows are at their smallest, and then we will cross to the hall and we will go together.
And so they waited until noon. And at noon, she released Olaf, and the pair of them went across to the hall. And Olaf, once the door was unlocked, said, "I'll go in and check it."
Oh!
And there, right on the portal, written in the black earth from the basin, was a rune of ill omen.
You must not go in. You must not go in at all.
What are you going to do?
I will jump over it, and I will take the coins with me.
She jinked the gold and jumped over the rune, and then closed the door behind her.
Wait for me.
Waiting was the hardest thing that Olaf had ever done. He waited until the sun started to wester before she came out. And then she turned to Olaf and said,
It is done. We are free.
"What are we going to do with the owl?
We will burn it.
Will he come back?"
No. I struck a bargain with him. He will not come.
And so it was. The ghost of Egil Skagler-Grimson has stayed safe in his grave from that day to this. And Olaf and Gudrun, do you know, they are as happy as you can be in this fallen world of ours.